Hello everybody, this is Bat, and today I'll be talking about my 10 satisfactory tips for beginners. Before we start, I must say this video is based on my own experiences and opinions, and they might not always work perfectly for everyone. But now, without further ado, let's begin. Okay, so for the first tip, I'll tell you that foundations are usually very underrated by beginners. When you start off, it works to build your factories on the bare ground, especially if you start off in the grass fields. But as you get further into the game, you're gonna start wishing that you built your factory on some platforms. So make sure you start constructing your factories on foundations in the air as soon as possible. Alright, but to make all these foundations, you're gonna need a lot of concrete. So, as soon as you can, make sure you start mining limestone and start producing concrete. Put up a line of containers and leave the production on. Alright, here at spot number 8 is a little tip that will help you a lot if you plan on playing any multiplayer. If you played Satisfactory with friends before, you're probably aware that it can get pretty problematic at times. I got this game with a friend and it lagged a lot, and it was close to unplayable, but apparently there's a really easy fix for this. All you have to do is go into settings, then gameplay, and turn up the network quality setting. Essentially what this setting does is decide how much bandwidth the game is allowed to use. So boost this and hopefully the lag will be in the past. My pick for tip number 7 is don't miss out on the world. Go out and explore as much as you can. There's a ton of useful stuff you can find that will be almost vital further into the game. Also, when you're out exploring, look for hard drives which you can find in crashed drop pods. With these hard drives you can unlock alternative recipes which almost always are superior to the normal ones. These recipes can be a huge help, and there are almost 100 of them, so it can be pretty difficult to find out which ones are the best. Fortunately for you guys, I made a video on the best alternative recipes a while back, so go check that out for some help. But sometimes going out and exploring can be quite difficult. That's why at spot number 6 I have a few exploring tips. First off, when you're trying to climb heights, use watchtowers, conveyor stackers or storage containers, which all have ladders on the side so you can use them to climb. Also use the zip line to glide over distances so you don't have to build bridges. When you're out exploring, you're gonna find a lot of interesting new stuff. Make sure that you bring as much of this as possible home and use it in the m.a.m. And that's what this tip is about. Don't underestimate the m.a.m. I did this in the beginning, but now I realized that the best stuff in the game is available through that research. So make sure you start using the m.a.m. as soon as possible. Alright, my tip for spot number 4 is so helpful. I didn't realize this until about 50 hours into the game, so I was pretty thrilled to realize this was a thing. When you use splitters and mergers, you can place them after laying out the conveyor belts. So you don't actually have to try and place them perfectly, so both conveyor belts can fit between the machines. I know, right? Thank me in the comments below. Also, before I continue, take the time to subscribe to this channel and follow me on Twitter. Link below. Okay, spot number 3. Getting close to the end right here. The tip is to go into the Satisfactory wiki from time to time. Especially if there's something you're curious about or if you have any specific questions. Literally everything is on this website. So just go in there and look around and you learn a lot. Alright, spot number 2 is actually also a website. This one's called Satisfactory Calculator and it has a bunch of great functions. First off, it can create and calculate your production lines of certain items based on node purity, conveyor mark, what output you want, and much more. There's also another pretty great feature which lets you see all available recipes, standard and alternate. Great for figuring out what alternative recipes you want. I actually used this in my video I mentioned earlier. By the way, for my people who follow the channel, there's a new one of those coming out soon, so look out for that. Here at spot number 1, I got a bunch of building tips for you that you'll find super useful. You might know a few of these, but hopefully you'll learn something new. Alright, first off, you can replace and upgrade your conveyor belts easily without having to break them every time, by just selecting a different level of conveyor belts and placing it on the one you want to replace. Next, you can also align machines simply by holding down Control while placing them, and the outputs and inputs of the buildings will be aligned. Another tip is that you can copy a building by pressing the middle mouse button. Now you'll be able to very efficiently expand and create production lines. Last but not least, if you haven't realized, you have multiple hotbars. All you have to do to access them is hold Alt while scrolling, and then you'll have 9 more hotbars.